Good afternoon. You're listening to the Inspirational Parent right here on your hometown station, KHTS. I'm your host, Jasmine Urbina, here in the studio today with my dad and co-hosts. Hi, Dad.
Hi.
Today we're going to be talking... I love you. Today we're going to be talking about how to create an extraordinary holiday. Now, I was not a part of the planning of this topic, so I'm really excited to see what tips you have to bring to the table, because I kind of can see a lot of people rolling their eyes as I said that topic, like, oh God, I have to deal with so-and-so. There's no way this is going to be extraordinary. So I'm going to go ahead and let you start off.
Well, I did a quick research on the internet to find out what other people and what other experts were giving tips, and it seems to be like a lot of the tips are more about doing this, like this is what you can do this holiday, or it's more about, like, for them it's about making sure that you prepare yourself and that the food's all prepared, and it's more about the doing rather than the interpersonal challenges that you have to really muster up to be able to create an extraordinary experience for yourself during the holidays, which apparently are, the holidays are supposed to be fun and exciting and joyful and filled with love and laughter. But if something's going on internally within yourself and you haven't mastered certain skills within yourself, interpersonal skills, you're going to be struggling. And so I just really wanted to kind of give our listeners some tips and really kind of have them thinking this holiday season to go within yourself and see if you can master some of those things.
Well, the first thing I want to say is I think the challenging part about the holidays for most people is dealing with all of the personalities. And on top of all the personalities, there's all the years of, relationships or traumas or drama or whatever that goes on between you and your family or your extended family, and then putting all those people in a room for some reason.
Yeah, like you have Uncle Tim who's coming to your house who has borrowed money from you several times and hasn't paid it back, but yet when he's at the Thanksgiving table, he's showing off by telling everybody what he has. And so you got all that kind of drama that you have to learn how to master within yourself such that you're able to be freed up to enjoy yourself. And so I want to go over a few things. The first thing I wrote down was let go of all expectations. And what that means is, you got to not operate from it should look like this or it should look like that. Why doesn't it look like the way I planned it? This isn't the way I envisioned it. So you got to let go of all that. You can't operate from a fixed position of expecting the holiday to look exactly the way you want it to look. You can't muscle the experience. You have to learn how to just allow it to unfold organically the way it is, and you have to kind of just flow with it. So let your holiday unfold the way that it's supposed to, and it's going to unfold on the universe's timeline, not your timeline.
Yeah, and I think that's a little bit easier said than done for people who are hosting the holidays, because you set up and you probably have a schedule plan. I'm going to start making dinner at this time, but your kids aren't doing what they were supposed to do, like clean. So now you have to stop making dinner so you can clean. And then people start showing up early and now you can't go get ready. And, so people, the host is usually the one probably who has a lot of expectations and wants everything to go as planned, so they can be comfortable. And, Aunt Sally shows up 3 hours early.
So. Yeah, and it's a great point that you make, and I want to also say this on top of that. There are other people, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of other people that are also enjoying their holidays, who are the party planners, who are the hosts, and they have 1,000 things that aren't going the way that they had planned it, and they're enjoying themselves. They're creating extraordinary experiences for themselves. So you're not the only one that had a certain thing planned at a certain time and it's just not following in place. So it is possible for you to figure out how to master some interpersonal skills within yourself such that you allow yourself to roll with the night, you roll along with the event, and you learn how to flow with it rather than to push against it. The second thing I wrote down was allow people to be who they are. And I wrote down some, personal things about who they can be and who people are showing up to be. So as you allow people to be who they are, allow them to be dysfunctional, weird, shy, sad, happy, funny, foolish, attention-seeking. People have their own insecurities and they bring that with them to your Thanksgiving or your Christmas celebration. You have to learn to just create the safe space for them to bring that into your party and be that. You're not going to fix everybody and course correct everyone. Otherwise, your focus now becomes more about telling your son, "Hey, stop saying stupid things," or "Hey, now you're telling your daughter, "Hey, stop bringing out all your stuff and showing off." Or all you're doing is focusing on the things that aren't bringing you the joy, and then you're wondering why you're not enjoying the experience at the end of the night.
Well, what about it in a scenario where you allow people to be who they are, and your sister decides to start throwing a whole fit and ruins all of Christmas dinner for everybody, and now the whole family's like, "Oh, great, there she goes again."
Yeah, well, that's the point. Is sisters throwing a temper tantrum? Everyone else feels like their experience is ruined, but you don't have to allow your experience to be ruined. It only takes one person to not allow the experience to be ruined for other people to look around and go, "Why aren't you upset?" And then you just get to go, "Because that's my sister. And she's always been like that, and we should already expect her to bring her drama and dysfunction in here and her attention-seeking stuff, and that's just who she is." And then when other people see you, that you've mastered yourself and you're not tagged and you're not in resistance to it and you're not angry or frustrated, or you didn't allow your experience to be ruined, then it now allows other people to see that, well, then I don't have to have my experience ruined either. It just takes one of you to not
Yeah,
get hooked or
usually
tagged.
there's someone who is kind of the okay, everything's okay. Let's just finish
Yeah,
what we we came here to do.
exactly. And the point I'm trying to make is that could be you. Or let's say Uncle John is the centered, grounded guy who always is happy-go-lucky. He never gets angry about stuff. He's always got a smile on his face. Well, maybe he's operating from these different distinctions, and it's you that needs to align yourself like him and create 3 of you, and then 7 of you, and there's 12 of you. If there's 7 or 8 or 12 of you that are solid, centered, grounded, and you're unaffected by other people's dysfunctions, you guys are going to have an amazing, extraordinary celebration. But I wanted to point these out because as you're listening, you might go, "Oh, that's me." I don't allow people to be who they are. When cousin Jennifer comes in and she's, bringing all her, drama into it, I automatically get annoyed, and then I start, then you got to see where you play your dysfunction, and you're part of the breakdown in that.
Yeah, I can. Now that we're kind of talking about it, I guess I can kind of tell myself where when I see all that drama, like I have this expectation of Christmas dinner being perfect.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
and we're all loving.
That
we're
right
all
there is number
hands
one. Yeah,
like, yeah.
Singing Kumbaya.
Yeah. Which was
Yeah.
number one. So
And maybe that's not your family. Your family doesn't do that. We're not. Maybe we're not set up to be able to be like that. And so you got to learn how to adapt yourself into the family that you were born into. If your family is, silly and making jokes, and, you're trying to pray, you're trying to have a moment of, giving grace and all that, and everyone's laughing, that's who your family is. Like, you trying to not make them that is not going to work. It's just going to make you upset and angry and frustrated.
yeah, and I can kind of see also 2 times where someone does come in with their drama or their stuff, and I'm just sitting there rolling my eyes like, already I haven't even eaten yet.
So number 2 is allow people to be who they are, and all that without being in resistance to the way that they choose to show up at your event. You got to remember, everyone has free will. God gave us this ability to have free will. We can choose to be whoever we want in any specific moment, and that's who they're choosing to be. They bring their dysfunction in, they're unconscious, and so they're just running their rackets, and they're doing their things, they're playing their ego games, and they're trying to get their goodies, their payoffs. They need the attention from Aunt Sally, and we need it from Grandma, and so we're going to go and we're going to tell our sad stories, and you can't be in resistance to them doing that. You just got to learn how to go, okay, this is my family, and I love them, and then that frees you up to be able to just enjoy the rest of the moment. Number 3 is don't take things personally. This is a big one. I hear a lot of people when I say this, they go, "Oh my God, that's one I got to really master," is don't take things personally. 10 times out of 10, what other people do, say, or act has absolutely nothing to do with who you are. And I think a lot of times people see things as what you're doing is affecting me, and it's not. And I always use this saying or this axiom, if you see a little kid at the doctor's office, he's on the floor and he's throwing a temper tantrum and he's on the floor, he's kicking and screaming. You look at the mom, you see how the mom's just so centered and grounded, and it's like, okay, little Johnny. She's not reacting to it. She's not taking it personal. However, she can take it personal. and see it as you're embarrassing me. Look at, there you go again. And now, so you gotta separate yourself from other people's stuff, other people's dysfunctions. People are going to say stupid things. They're going to project stuff at you. You got to learn how to be the matrix and just go around all of that stuff, all the projectiles, and not let any of it hit you, tag you, stick to you. Just kind of be flawless around that and just separate people's dysfunctions from you. It's not who you are. Do not let them tag you. If you get tagged, now you're it.
Well, for me, one of the challenging things about not taking things personally is a lot of the times they're very purposely throwing those projectiles
Yeah,
at
of course, of course.
and or at me. And as much as I want to dodge it or I can dodge it, it's still the act of them, like whatever it is, word vomiting or whatever, actually throwing something at
Yeah,
me.
being disrespectful, dishonoring you. Like, we can go on and on about people doing their own dysfunction and they're doing it with an intention to hurt you, to press your button, to get your goat, to hook you, whatever you want to call it. But you're the one that's being hooked. You're the one that's being tagged. You're the one that's allowing it to affect you. So what I'm saying is that it is possible to operate from a place of called allowing people to be who they are without taking their stuff onto me. It's like, imagine somebody going around and vomiting. You're not going to stand in front of the vomit. You're going to step aside. You're going to move probably around them, put your hand in the back and go, it's okay, and then try to give them a towel. But you're not taking it personally. You're not letting them vomit on you. So when people are in that state and they're purposefully trying to take shots at you or attack you, move out of the way. Just visualize it as has nothing to do with you. It's their stuff, and learn how to separate yourself from them. It's funny because a lot of times people will say, when they get into an argument or get into a debate, it's very challenging for them to see that all the other person did was say some words. Because after saying some words, they weren't just saying words, they were saying hateful words. And then it went from just saying words to saying hateful words, and they were saying hateful words now to me. And so you got to remember, we're the meaning maker to everything. So we're giving everything meaning. And all you got to do to master yourself is just first see their dysfunction as their dysfunction, period, and then stop right there. The rest of it, after that, you're creating all the rest of it.
Yeah, and I kind of it makes me wonder now how, if you are listening to this and are identifying with some of these scenarios, if you were to just not react at all. Because mostly what happens is, let's say your sister, whoever, someone throws a temper tantrum or starts their stuff up.
They go on a rant, right?
Yeah, and you usually react like, hey, sit down, calm down, you need to stop, this is inappropriate, whatever. You start with your stuff. But imagine if one time, let's say you practice this at Christmas or Thanksgiving, and you just don't react. They're going to be probably standing there at the table like, this is awkward now.
Exactly. And that goes to show you that if we were in a game of toss, if I toss the ball to you and you don't toss it back, I can't play by myself. So when people have temper tantrums, or they start going on a rant, or they start arguing with you, somebody can't argue and throw temper tantrums by themselves. At a certain point, if you don't play into it, it dies out. The trick is realizing that I'm a part of the problem at a certain point when I resist it, or when I try to defend myself, or when I try to correct them, or when I try to put them into place. Now they suck me in, and now I got pulled into the game, and now we're both running our rackets back
right.
and forth.
And later, when people are telling the story of, they're not like, so-and-so ruined Christmas. It's you and so-and-so ruined Christmas because you were part of it.
That's right. And now you want to jump on them now and defend yourself and go, yeah, but he started it. And before you know it, you're proving the point. Mm-hmm. You're proving to everybody in that moment that you can't just allow people to have their stuff. We'll call it stuff. They get to have their stuff and just let it be what it is, and don't get pulled into it. A lot of times we get tagged and we get pulled into it, and before you know it, are right there in it. We're now part of the problem. So that's number 3. Don't take things personally. Number 4 is be present and in the moment. And I know as common folk, we like to believe that we are present and we are in the moment. And until you've learned how to really narrow your ability to just be here now, you got to be open to the possibility that I'm not as present as I think I am. Because if you're fully present and in the moment, there's a lot of dysfunctions that aren't happening. You're not triggered. You're not getting tagged. You're not getting annoyed. Being fully present in the moment really helps you to be here now and be non-judgmental. So number 4 is be present and in the moment, not in your head making judgments. If you're in your head making judgments, you're not here being present. A lot of times we're up here observing what's going on out there, but we're here going, oh my God, I cannot believe she brought this guy to our party. Oh my God, I can't believe that. Oh, she has a nerve come showing up here. You know what I'm saying? We're up here, we're judging and we're psychoanalyzing everything. And that's part of some of our problems, is that we don't learn how to just be present here now from like a neutral place.
I also think that there's kind of going off of that. I also think that if there were any excuse or any reason to just say, you know what, today is not the day I'm going to be affected by this, or today's not the day where I'm going to let them, ruin my day. And
well, that's a great affirmation. Have an affirmation where you tell yourself just before in the morning, you get up. Some people do prayer, some people do yoga, but create an affirmation where you go, today all things are blessings. Today I am unattached to all things. Today I'm surrendering resistance to anything and anybody. So that's powerful to have an affirmations where today's just going to be a great day, period. You saying that out of your mouth is a good tool, and it's a good starting point.
Yeah, and I really genuinely believe that the people in our families that, have their own personalities or their own dysfunctions or bring all of that into that space that everybody kind of already has set up to be like a loving, they create it to be something more than it is, more than just another day. So it takes a very special, kind of person that's in your family. We all have them, or, multiples or one or whatever, that bring that stuff into that space. And like, as you were saying, not to take it personally, when someone does that, I love Christmas, I love Thanksgiving, I love the holidays. I just sit there like, they are not going to ruin this for me. And then, 45 minutes later, I'm sitting there like, I can't believe this person ruined this for me. So I start off with that, and I even take it personally enough to say, I can't believe they're going to disrespect my family like this today of all days.
Right. And that is the victim version. Mm-hmm. You got tagged and then you looked at it from, they did this to me. No, they didn't do that to you. They just showed up with all their stuff.
They showed up being them.
With their stuff, yeah. Their dysfunction, they bring it with them. We bring our stuff with us, and then it's like a big bag of toys, and we show up to someone's house and we just empty our bag all over the floor. And it's like, what are you doing? It's like, this ain't your home. You can't. And it's like, no, I want to play with my toy, and you just kick all your toys around, and so, but you see that like they do that to you rather than that's just what they do. It's just the journey they're on. They're on a journey of trying to figure out who they are and work through their suffering and figuring out that they're more powerful than they really are.
Yeah, and I don't want to say that, we're just saying them, someone else in the family always does that, because sometimes it's me.
Absolutely.
Sometimes it's you. Sometimes it's us that is that person for people. And I just want to remind you, you don't need to beat yourself up about it just because in the past you were that person. This is a new holiday. People are going to expect that of you. But when you don't bring it and everything is fine, they're going to have new memories of you in that way.
Yeah, it's a great point. I'm glad you brought that up, because I wrote this as though, you're the one that's creating the environment. You're the one that's hosting the party, and that people are coming in from your invitation into your home, and that hopefully you're centered and grounded, and how to keep you centered and grounded. But yeah, you could totally read this and these tips as, wow,
I do that. Yeah.
maybe I'm the dysfunctional one and I bring my dysfunction. So be mindful if that is you, and we all have it. We all have our dysfunction. Some of us carrying a big bag and we bring it with us. Some of us have just enough in our back pocket. But if you're mindful when you're going to other people's homes and you're in that environment, just don't bring those games out. It's not time for those reindeer games. Keep those in your back pocket, like wanting to be needy and needing everyone's approval and trying to show off. Put all that in your back pocket. Just come with your heart, wear it on your sleeve, and enjoy spending time with your grandma and sitting there and just talking to her for an hour or two, or sit there and for once listen to other people and be interested in what they're up to, rather than you being so excited to tell them everything that happened to you the last 2 years because they haven't visited you and so forth.
Okay, we have to take a quick break, but stay tuned for more of the Inspirational Parent right here on your hometown station, KHTS.
You've seen them on Spike TV's Bar Rescue. Now experience the Cajun Belle in Canyon Country. The Cajun Belle, a terrific mix of SoCal Creole and the most flavorful handmade cocktails in our valley. It's the happening place, beginning with Blues Night every Wednesday from 7 to 11. Thursday is karaoke night with all-night happy hour featuring $1 tacos. Friday is Ladies Night with the coolest DJ in town. Check out live cover bands every weekend. The Cajun Belle on Soledad opposite the Canyon Country Post Office.
Experience the spirit of giving and the thrill of savings at the Outlets at Tejon, a holiday shopping destination unlike any other. Shop amazing deals during extended hours all month long to find the perfect gifts for everyone on your list. Save up to 65% on over 60 of the top brands in fashion, accessories, and home goods, like Coach Factory Store, Gymboree Outlet, H&M, Pottery Barn Outlet, Nike Factory Store, Michael Kors, Express Factory Outlet, and more. Outlets at Tejon, your must-shop stop for the holidays. Located just 40 minutes north off I-5. For sales and events, join the VIP Club online at TejonOutlets.com or find us on Facebook.
Extra savings on your must-have brands are here during Black Friday weekend. Shop the Outlets at Tejon for the best deals during extended hours, starting Thanksgiving 6 p.m. till midnight, and Black Friday starting at 6 a.m. Visit TejonOutlets.com for hours.
The Las Vegas shooting created awareness for all of us. Awareness to upgrade security at concerts. Awareness for clearly marked exit signs. Awareness on how to evacuate safely. And awareness to have tighter hotel security. The law offices of Owen Patterson Owen are working diligently with Las Vegas victims to prevent future tragedies from occurring, as well as protecting the rights of Las Vegas victims to receive financial assistance for their ordeal. If you know someone impacted by the shooting, visit opolaw.com. That's opolaw.com.
Our trash has got to go somewhere, and Chiquita Canyon Landfill is helping make the Santa Clarita Valley a little greener. Our local landfill creates clean energy from our waste disposal to power 10,000 homes each year. With their 9.2 megawatt clean energy facility harnessing the landfill's methane gas, you can feel good that the waste from your home in the SCV is helping create a clean energy source. Chiquita Canyon Landfill is our partner in sustainable living.
Chiquita Canyon is helping lead the way to a greener future.
Hometown, your hometown station.
I just like the variety music.
KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Inspirational Parent right here on your hometown station, KHTS. Today we're talking about how to create an extraordinary holiday. Now, before we went on the break, we listed about four tips on how to create the extraordinary holiday.
I'll go over some of those distinctions. Number one is let go of all expectations. Number two is allow people to be who they are. Weird, shy, sad, happy, funny, foolish, seeking attention, those kinds of things. Number three, don't take things personally. Number four, be present and in the moment. And that's where we left off. So being present in the moment. And then I also wanted to add on to that to when you're focused in the moment, you got to look at your focus like a laser beam. And that focus is your laser beam. And you want to focus that laser beam on all the things that you're enjoying about the event. Not focusing that laser beam on the things that you don't like, that you don't want, that are annoying you, because the laser beam is creative. It gives more energy to things. It's like your eyes. It's like what you look at, you create more of. So you're going to focus your laser beam on the things that you really enjoy, like mom and sister over there in the corner having this powerful conversation and they're laughing. Focus your laser beam on them and be observant and just really be into what be a great observer, observe them and let that bring you joy rather than Tommy over here who is showing off and trying. So if you're in resistance to those things, you're looking at that, you're now creating more frustration and animosity and you're creating that more for yourself because you got your laser beam focused on the wrong things.
Yeah, this is kind of like a silly example, but as you're saying that, I was thinking of last Christmas. I was responsible for one dish, the ham, and the ham came out really dry, and I hated it. And I was so mad. It was like the whole time I was like mad at myself about ruining the ham. But then I I was just staring, like my family was all having fun. I'm all sitting there all sad, and I was like, "Wait, it's Christmas." So I actually like had to physically take the ham and like put it at a different table, and like nobody knew this whole thing was going on. But I actually physically picked up the ham and put it like on the counter, like because I was like. It was like for me a visual representation to like, let's start this night over again. You don't have to be, and like,
yeah, it was a statement to say, I'm putting this ham behind me. I'm literally getting off of the ham. Let's move and surrender past the ham, because the moments and the possibilities of really creating some extraordinary experiences with people that I love are right here in front of me, and they keep being ruined because I keep going back to this stinking ham.
Yeah, and I know it was silly to do that whole thing, but in retrospect, it was actually really silly to be so upset or so distraught about the ham, letting it ruin my day. And it really did. It's kind of like sometimes we just need an excuse to start all over.
Yeah.
Almost like we need something or a sign or someone to say, hey, it's okay. Like, let's pretend like none of that happened. Let's just go back out. But nobody does that. That's not really common. So sometimes you need to just do it for yourself and be the one to say, it's okay, let's just start all over.
You absolutely have to do it for yourself. If you get stuck, your job is to figure out how to unstick yourself, not figure out how to stay stuck in it and be like that hamster in a hamster wheel where you're just going over and over and over again to be right about it and to create more validation that it shouldn't have happened. And, I'm so stupid one more time. I ruined it again, and I should have this and I should have that. You got to unstick yourself. So the way you unstick yourself in this scenario is take your laser beam, scan across the room, and lock your laser beam on something that you enjoy, like the little babies in the corner playing with them. Like, you're going to lock it on something and go, find and figure out how to unstick yourself. But the laser beam is important because it's like a magical laser beam that creates more of of whatever it is that you point it at. So if you want more joy, if you want more gratitude, if you want to just have more peace and fun, focus the laser beam on the people that are having fun, the people that are enjoying themselves, the ones that are laughing. Focus it on them and let them redirect you and start a whole new trend for yourself. Number 5 is bring your own joy. Don't look for fun, joy, or excitement to fall out of the sky, because it doesn't. You have to bring your joy, your fun, and your excitement to the celebration. You got to be the celebration. You got to be the fun. It doesn't just happen on its own. Don't rely on Cousin Mike to be the one that's always the funny one, and because if Cousin Mike not be there that year.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people they expect other people to entertain them, almost like sometimes.
But it's unconsciously,
yeah.
right? We go in going, I hope Cousin Mike's gonna be there, or hope and instead of no, I'm gonna be there, and I get to figure out how to create connections with people. I get to come and just let myself loose and enjoy myself.
Yeah, and that's what I really enjoy about us all coming together like during that time, because yeah, it is a treat to have Cousin Mike there and having fun and everything.
That's a bonus. Cousin Mike is a bonus.
but if you have a good enough time, especially with your family, like in our family, we could just do Christmas Day on our own and not invite anybody, and we would have just as much fun, maybe even more. But we want to invite other people into our lives, or we want to be a part of it and, spend time with everybody. So for me, sometimes it's like, I feel like if my family's not there, then I can't be myself and I can't be, have all this fun. Not knowing really that I can probably find that fun and that joy like with myself and in being with everybody else. Because I remember one year we weren't going to do our traditional Christmas party, go out, and see the whole family. That I was like, fine, you guys can stay home. You Grinches can stay home. I'm going to go by myself. And I did not want to go. I was like, but my family is a fun family. I was like so upset. And then finally you guys ended up actually coming in. But I was my intention was fully to go and just spend time and have a good time there.
And
you
should, because you came from a family who gave themselves permission to just be the fun. And it's cool to have 5 or 6 of us if we're operating from that place. It just feels free and it kind of fills each other up and it fans the flame for everyone. but you came from that kind of environment. You were born and bred out of that kind of fun. So you have it in you. It's an innate ability in you to take that wherever you go. You can be invited to the next door neighbors or your in-laws or your whoever, and you go. Remember, you get to bring that. Don't go there expecting everyone else to, bring your fun and entertain you. No, it's no one's job and no one's responsibility to entertain you. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. You have to entertain yourself.
Yeah, and I think also too, as the host, some people, the host, put that pressure just on themselves, and
they try to do games, and so rally behind them and go, hey, and Sally create this game, guys. Come on, let's like rally behind each other to kind of kickstart or cause some kind of fun momentum, because it should be fun, right?
It should be.
Number 6 is surrender your want or need to control people or the event. Now, this is an interpersonal addiction that some of us have. It's called control. And unless you're really highly aware and conscious of it, we don't realize that we try to control or manipulate certain people or events to really satisfy ourselves. And your control and bringing your unmanaged control into a celebration or a moment where we're supposed to, or we get to have fun, enjoy ourselves, is going to ruin the moment. You cannot bring control with you. So leave control in your car, leave it at home, leave it in your bedroom. Don't come in with that controlling attitude, because you can't control anything outside of you. You can't make Uncle Jim not bring his corny jokes with him, because that's just, you can't make anybody do anything. You can only control yourself. So if you're going to bring the control, have it be in your back pocket, but have it focus more on me. What can I control within myself? I can control my own perceptions. I can control my own judgments. I can control my own inabilities to want to force people to do certain things or force the moment to look a certain way. But you can't control other people, so leave that where it's supposed to be at, and don't bring it into your party.
As a controller myself,
as a self-proclaimed controller,
I should say, as someone who struggles with being a controller, I find that probably most of my, I don't want to say unhappiness, but the things that at the moment, like at a party or an event or something, the thing that makes me the most unhappy is my own self trying to control things or wanting things to be a certain way, and basically being so stubborn. Like, I want to hold on to my own expectations and make people fit into that mold, that I'm the one that really kind of, I guess, suffers, you could say. Or I would even say that there's times I actually have suffered because I didn't want to let it go. And sometimes it wasn't that I didn't want to, it was just that I was being unconscious. And if I would have just, if I could tell younger me, I would say, you know what, actually think about if you really even want this.
If you could tell the younger you would, the older you, or more wiser you, would walk into the younger you's room.
Yeah, I'd put my hand on her shoulder.
Yeah, and while she's crying, you would say, hey, it's okay. The event doesn't have to look the way you want it to look. Let's just go out there and learn how to enjoy people. Let's learn how to go in there and just learn how to accept other people for who they are, and just enjoy yourself. And then, what I'm saying, and that's that part of us. If we can tap into that wisdom that's deep down inside us, that we have those interpersonal tools, that we can figure out how to master that, such that we're always enjoying ourselves all the time, not just at holidays. But if I can learn how to master those abilities, I'm enjoying myself wherever I go, even at a bus stop.
What do you do at a bus stop?
You just enjoy yourself. You people watch. You observe.
I was just gonna say that I think one of the most, for me, in my journey of being a controller, one of the most effective, I guess, exercises for me is people watching. Because sometimes I people watch and you sit there in judgment. This is how the process went in the beginning. I sat there in judgment. That lady needs to pick her kid up. He's crying. This poor old woman's walking around the mall. This is so sad. Someone should push her in a wheelchair.
Where's their family?
Yeah, where are her children? Where are her grandchildren? So I sit there in judgment, and I sat there in judgment in the beginning, and then towards the end, I started feeling a little bit more compassionate for people, at the very end, nothing really at all. I didn't feel anything. I literally just watched. I think I exhausted myself.
Yeah, exactly.
I exhausted myself so much from judging and trying to fix it and all this and that. And I realized that that's what I'm doing with my family, with my friends at these parties. That I'm at the end of the day, I come home, I'm like, oh, I'm so exhausted. All I did was sit there all day and judge everyone.
So here's number 7. Number 7 is you don't have to do anything, only be. So this is also, the premise of my book and chapter number 1, which is be, do, have. Focus more on who you're being as a parent. Well, when you're at celebrations, you're at Thanksgiving or Christmas, or you're in the holidays, focus more on who you're being, not what you do. So be loving, which means come from a loving place. Be accepting. Accept everyone for all of their faults and shortcomings. Nobody is perfect. Be patient. Let life unfold in its own timeline, not your timeline. Be playful. Don't be so rigid. Have a laugh or two. Connect with a few relatives and let your little kid come out and play. Be tolerant. Have a big enough space for other people to be quirky, weird, needy. Let them be dysfunctional and love them anyway. Be proactive. Insert yourself from a positive angle rather than being reactive to situations. Reactiveness brings resistance, anger, frustration, and annoyances. Be neutral. Operate from it is what it is. You don't always have to give negative meaning to everything. Be unattached. Unattached means there's nothing that anything has to be in a particular way for me to be okay with it. So be unattached to letting everything go. Be unattached to the turkey tasting perfect and juicy. Be unattached to the decorations being all the amount of money you bought for beautiful decorations even being put up on the wall. Be unattached to the whole event turning out anything close to the way that you envisioned it. You got to be unattached to all things. Your happiness and joy is based on your ability to be unattached to anything. And then last but not least, be fun and be grateful. Some people are suffering in this world 1,000 times worse than you might be, and they're not even having a holiday to celebrate. So allow yourself to be grateful that you even have family. I'm so grateful I have a family and that they're dysfunctional, because some people don't even have families to share their joy with.
And I think maybe 80% of the time when we're at these family events, things go great. But we focus on the 20% of things that didn't go.
Or the 1%. That's
or the 1%.
That's the craziest thing. You can have like 90. There are people literally that they're so focused on the 1% of went wrong that they discount or can't even see the 99% of what went right. And that's because their laser beam was focused on that 1%. It's like everyone's laughing and enjoying themselves and enjoying their meal, and your one eye's here and one laser eye's over here focused on, your daughter and the boyfriend arguing outside, and you can't enjoy yourself because your laser beam's over here.
Or even, this is worse, and I do this too, is bringing that 1% into the 99%, like bringing that one bad thing into all the stuff that if I would have just let it go or gotten off of it, then I could have fun in this moment. I could play these games and I could watch this movie, and I can do all these things, but I bring that 1%, that one bad thing that went wrong into all those new things.
Yeah, absolutely. Another thing I want to point out is celebrations like a Thanksgiving or a Christmas or any kind of holiday is really going to challenge your leadership skills, your ability to be a leader. And what I mean by that is stuff happens in life, and so you have to learn how to navigate through things. So let's say someone's having a hard time and they're off in the corner and they're having a mental breakdown or they're tripping. Your job sometimes as either the head of the household or just a leader in general is to take that person and say, hey, let's go for a walk. And you take them outside and you do a little cleanup work. You're like the coach. You clean them up and you heal them up and help make, them feel a little better about themselves and about the situation. And then you go, come on, let's go in and have some apple pie or some carrot cake or whatever the dessert is. And so at your job, sometimes you have to go and you got to do some cleanup work. And like you said, if there's 1% that's ruining the 99%, you might have to go and kind of take that person to the room and, hey, can I talk to you for a minute, and do some course correction and some cleanup work, and then empower them a little bit, help them get off of it, such that it frees them up to bring them back in, and now you have your whole 100%. So it might call forth for you to bring your leader into the room and figure out how to kind of create this environment to be the best that it can be without you trying to control it and manipulate it to be something that you need it to be.
Yeah, and that kind of goes back to what I was saying in the last segment about you know, for me, I have to be my own empowerer. I have to be my own person to say, hey, get off of it. Nobody else is on it anymore. You have a chance to start all over. Let's just make the rest of this night better, because no one's going to come. If you throw a temper tantrum and you run outside, no one's going to chase after you and say, hey, you know what? Let's just start all over. Let's pretend none of this happened. Let's go back inside. The person that's going to chase you is the person that's going to scold you. So you have to kind of, I guess, be your own leader. And then if you can or will, you can do it for other people too, but most importantly, especially for me as someone who is the person that storms out of the room, I sometimes need to give myself a pep talk to go back and say, you know what, this is not over, it's not ruined, because that's like the number one thing I feel like you beat yourself up about is, oh, I ruined it, or I ruined everyone's holidays, and that's not really the case, because sometimes it's only 1% of the day. It's only 1% of the event, and I make it to be 60%, and I make it to be this whole big thing when it's really not.
I'll tell you what, when we come back from the break, let's talk a little bit more about some tools that I can give you to help set you up to win for Thanksgiving a little bit more. We'll tighten it up a little bit more. And or if you're already stuck, like, how do I get myself out of being stuck in this and in resistance and in total breakdown?
Sounds great. Stay tuned for more of the Inspirational Parent right here on your hometown station, KHTS.
There are times when nothing else will do because you know exactly what you want. You want the Alamo, the taste of true Mexican cooking at its best. At Alamo, you're treated to a taste that is truly Mexican with an atmosphere to match. Enjoy a Cadillac margarita, try a mucho burrito, or sizzling fajitas. Voted the best Mexican food in the SCV and a favorite of former supervisor Mike Antonovich. Alamo Rotisserie in Granary Square, serving Santa Clarita for over 30 years.
Every year, thousands of local children, teens, and adults receive treatment at the Child and Family Center for depression, anger, anxiety, abuse, thoughts of suicide, and drug and alcohol addictions. Our professional staff provides outpatient services at office locations, in the home, the community, and on many elementary, junior, and high school campuses throughout our valley. If you need help, contact Child and Family Center at 259-9439 or childfamilycenter.org. Improving lives, one family at a time.
Little Eye Leaders is the newest preschool in the Santa Clarita Valley. At Little Eye Leaders, our outstanding teachers lead with intellect, perspective, and heart. That means our programs provide a warm, nurturing atmosphere to meet the unique needs of each child. We believe that play is a powerful form of learning for young children. That's why our kids have every opportunity to learn through the magic and excitement of play. Parents, schedule a tour today by calling 303-0400 or online at littleeyeleaders.org.
Santa Clarita, bedbugs are taking over our city. They've invaded our homes, our businesses, and most importantly, our sleep. If you have suspicious bites that appear nightly, or have a bug that you need ID'd, your best option is to make one call to All Pro. We offer a 100% guarantee that your bedbug issues will be solved with heat in one treatment. No need to tent or spray your house with chemicals. Heat is all you need. Call 661-298-2200 or text me a bug picture to 661-645-0540. It's time to sleep tight again, STV.
This is a Rita's Daybreak. There's a huge crowd at Rita's. With so many amazing flavors, every day's a treat. Let's see what folks are celebrating.
I lost my first tooth. No more training wheels. My dog photo got 37 likes.
3 kids, 3 activities, 0 meltdowns. There you have it. Layer it, blend it, or drink it with Italian ice and creamy custard. So many reasons to celebrate at Rita's. This has been a Rita's Daybreak.
Rita's. Santa Clarita's hometown station, KHTS.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Inspirational Parent right here on your hometown station, KHTS. Today we are talking about how to create an extraordinary holiday. If you missed any of the 7 wonderful tips, you can find them online on our podcast at hometownstation.com. But before we went on the break, Dad, you promised me that you would teach us how to get unstuck when we find that we're stuck in those moments, not just in the holidays, but to paint a picture if we're at Christmas dinner and you kind of feel like maybe you ruined it by, starting some of your stuff, how to get out of that and just enjoy the rest of the day.
Yeah, well, I think the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is to write down these tips that I just went over, because for most part, I think most of us are just going to either hear this in the car or watch it online, and most of us are just going to get bits and pieces of it. We're going to like some of it. We're not going to hear all the tips that I gave, and we're just going to take that information in and we're going to try to retain it in our brain. We're going to try to remember a piece of it, or we're going to go, oh my God, that was awesome. It was great insight. And then we're just going to move on with our life. And then we're going to find ourselves 5 to 7 or 12 days from now, we're stuck in it. So take some time, take a moment, write these tips down and create some kind of a printout that you can put somewhere in your room to help you get centered and grounded before you even start your day on next Thursday morning for Thanksgiving. Have it somewhere where you can go back and go over 1, 2, 3, 4, so that you can just remember how to stay centered and grounded about what you're committed to, and be refreshed about what some of these tips and some of these rules are to kind of keep you ongoing on that path of creating an extraordinary event for yourself. So that's number 1. Number 2, if you do get stuck, if you find yourself stuck on the ham or the turkey because it didn't turn out the way that you wanted it to and all that kind of stuff, I'm going to tell you to go to your room, take a time out, get yourself out of that place, go to your room, or even go to your car or go outside, pull out your list that you just wrote down, and I'm going to give you some additional things that are going to be tips for your list if you get stuck. So number 1 is forgive yourself, with the intention to let it go. A lot of times we forgive ourselves, but we don't forgive ourselves and let it go. We forgive ourselves once, and then we beat ourselves up again, and then we forgive ourselves. So we forgive ourselves in the moment, but that we don't forgive ourselves forever. We forgive ourselves, and then we just keep going back to it and beating ourselves up and beating ourselves up. So forgive yourselves with the intention that after I forgive myself, I let it go. So when someone goes, oh my God, the turkey is horrible, and you go, what turkey? Even, you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't even know what you're talking about. I'm already moved on to the pumpkin pie. Like, I'm already ready for what's next, or the games, or whatever we're talking about. So forgive yourself with intention, let it go. And or ask for forgiveness if you offended somebody, or if you got into it with someone, or if you grabbed your son and said, hey, I can't believe you always do this, and he stormed off crying. Ask for forgiveness. Go clean it up. So go up to someone and say, hey, I'm sorry. I think the words I'm sorry are some of the hardest words that some of us human beings have trouble with mustering up, and I don't know why. For whatever reason, I think the ego just doesn't want to surrender to saying those words. But I'm sorry is one of the quickest tools to unstick yourself or to give yourself permission to move forward and move on.
One of the things I really wanted to emphasize was that you said to ask for forgiveness, because so many times people come back into the room and they act like nothing happened, and it would just mean the world to me. And I don't need it, but oftentimes it would mean a lot to me if somebody could just acknowledge that, hey, I messed up, I made a mistake, I said something that might have offended you or hurt you, and that wasn't my intention. And if you would forgive me, I would love to come back and have just a great time today. And I would say, of course, I'm not going to shun you for that. Thank you for apologizing, and then have a great time. When you come back into the room and into that space where you may have hurt somebody's feelings or offended somebody, and you don't say anything, yeah, you can try your best to move on, but it doesn't help the other person that's still affected. And I know it's up to them to get out of their stuff, but I think if I'm the reason why they're in it, I would like to help them get out of it.
Yeah, be mindful that you may or may not have intentionally hurt somebody, but you can still hurt someone or offend them, and they might not even realize that's what has happened. So be mindful and aware, and just notice, be observant. If you're present in the moment, you can notice if your daughter's kind of off by herself, or she's not her normal bubbly self, and walk over and go, hey, are you okay?
And how great is it to clean it up in the moment versus 2 or 3 weeks, 2 or 3 months from after that event, and say, hey, I'm sorry about what happened at Christmas.
It's huge. It's so imperative to be able to be present enough to notice that somebody's stuck. So help unstick them. If you need to offer that forgiveness to someone, or just ask them, did I offend you? Did I say something that might have hurt your feelings? And you give them an opportunity to go, yeah, you kind of did. And whether you did intentionally or not doesn't matter. What matters is somebody you love, someone that you care about is hurt, and they're stuck. More importantly than being hurt, they're stuck. So help unstick them so they can get off it. You can get off it, and you guys can replug back in and start over again. Which is actually my next point is start over from where you are right now in this moment. So after you've forgiven yourself, or you've asked for forgiveness, this is now a new starting point. So start over from this present moment called right now, a blank slate for me to go and create whatever it is that I want to experience in the living room, or in the the dining room, or wherever it is that everyone's getting together and enjoying and celebrating the holiday. I get to start over right now. And then the last thing is declare a new commitment. From this point forward, Mom, what you can count on from me is I'm going to be more accepting of what you're saying. From this moment forward, daughter, you can count on me to not be pointing out all your faults, and I'm going to be more loving and accepting from this point forward.
I'm excited. I'm going to write these tips down and probably use them in my own during my own holiday season. Sounds good.
If you don't hear from us soon, this might be a broadcast that we're going to do next Friday, because I'm going to be celebrating with you on Thanksgiving and the day after.
Thanks for joining us right here at your hometown station, KHTS.